So once again, I'm merging Magic Days together into one super video. Now that being said, I did get a minor complaint from someone that when I went on too long and I didn't have the cards in front of me when I was talking about them, that that it's not quite as entertaining. I can understand that completely. I wish I could put the cards in front of me, but I can't, or on the screen, and I can't. So to compensate for that, I am going to be as swift, quick. I'm going to try to go over them as eloquently as possible while not trying to flub over what I'm saying. But I'm still going to try to give equal time to every card. So, we now have the official card for God Pharaoh's Gift, which is a 7-costing artifact of any color, rare artifact. Excuse me. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie, and it gains haste until the end of turn. Really, the only issue with this card is its cost. That's the only thing. Because dropping at turn 7, and let's be clear, with Mono Ramp, you might be getting it turn 5 or 6, all depending. With certain cards, you could even get it out maybe earlier than that. But if I always got to look at this in the sense of when you drop it down the turn you're playing it, and once you get into the 7th turn of the game, a lot of shit has happened. So while this card is not bad, in fact, if anything, this card would be horrific with things like unblockable creatures, like 1-drop unblockable creatures or 1-drop flyers, or 2/3, anything that's basically got power toughness less than or equal to this 4/4 zombie, and then activate added abilities added onto it would be pretty good with this card. Anything else beyond that, debatable. Not Hollow One. Appeal Authority. So Appeal is 1 green sorcery. Until the end of turn, uncommon. Until the end of turn, target creature gains trample and gets +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures you control. Authority is 1 white, 1 of any color. Sorcery Aftermath. Tap up to 2 target creatures your opponent controls. Creatures you control get Vigilance till the end of turn. This is definitely one of the better Aftermath cards. Like in a realistic scenario, I fully see someone playing this when they have maybe about 3 creatures, because depending what type of deck you're running, you could try to hold out for more, but if you're not producing like tokens, or you're just getting hammered, you're gonna have to use what you can. But this is also one of those cards that can be used immediately. You can use both of them immediately, and then you're giving one guy a pump up, tapping down your opponent's field, and then you're not untapping, or you're not tapping, I should say. So it's definitely one of the better Aftermath cards, easily. Hollow One, 5 of any color, 4/4, Golem, artifact creature, rare. Hollow One costs 2 less to cast for each card you've cycled or discarded. Now, when I was trying to do the video yesterday, and I got interrupted there before I couldn't do it. With this card, it's one of those. It looks a lot better than it is. In fact, this card's really not that good. You have to first off be either running some sort of discard deck, or you got to be cycling. So right there, you got to be in that particular deck structure. But then even with that, unless you're doing 1-drops or just discarding a card, nothing's changing with the amount of mana you're paying for it. It costs 5. If you do a cycling for just say 2, it's still going to cost 3. You're still going to have 3 mana you're going to need to pay. If it's cycle for 3, and then it's no longer worth it. You need to have it equal to that, equating to the value basically of what you're discarding. It's a card that's just not worth it. It's clearly a bulk rare, and plus it's a 4/4 that does absolutely nothing. The best you got honestly out of this is you can cycle it for 2. So not really that good. We have 5 new, well, technically 6, but 5 new uncommon deserts. So Heshep Oasis is the green one. Now all these basically tap for a colorless mana, or you can pay 1 life, tap this card, pay 1 life, and add a mana of the respective color: green, blue, white, red, black, to the mana pool. So we're just going to look at their third ability to really judge it. And by the way, just from looking at it from those points of view, if it were just the first 2 abilities, card would be usable. I don't dig on I don't dig on lands that make me lose life when I have to use them. But let's see now. Pay 2 green and 1 of any color. Tap this card and sacrifice a desert. No, it does not say this card, but a desert. Target creature gets +3/+3 until the end of turn. Activates the ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery, which is the same clause at the end for all of these. Honestly, it's not worth it because we literally have a better spell that could give you 3 with a little problem and does a bonus effect without you losing something in return with the appeal and authority. So, really not that good. The Chevet Dunes is 2 white, 2 of any color, tap it, sacrifice the desert. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until the end of turn. This one's definitely better because it buffs the entire field. However, it's still not great because you gotta pay. You're paying like a oh god, what's the name of it? The two. I have so many copies of it. The 2/1 for the exact same price, instant. That two of any color, 2 white. Not glorious anthem, glorious charge, something like that. It pumps up the field by 2 and 1, 2 power, 1 toughness. It's like a weaker version of that. You're just better off playing the instant. Ramunap Ruins. Pay the red one. Pay 2 red, 2 of any color. Sacrifice the desert. Deals 2 damage to each opponent. This one I could definitely say is the best one so far because it's immediately doing the damage to the opponent. And if you're in something like Commander or you're in 2-headed Giant, that's going to be a much bigger deal. The black one. If near Dreadlands, pay 2 black and 2 of any color. Tap this, sacrifice the desert. Put 2 -1/-1 counters on target creature and opponent controls. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. It's fine. The problem with these cards is you need deserts, and you can obviously sacrifice it. But you pretty much got to make a desert deck is what you got to do. Now, don't get me wrong. I might consider it. But, frankly, I'm not seeing a lot of deserts that are worth it in this set. Ipnu Rivulet. Now this one's pay 1 and 1 blue. So 1 of any color and 1 blue. Tap it, sacrifice it. The target player puts the top 4 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. It's player, and if you're running eternalized creatures, or embalmed creatures, yeah, sure, it's fine, but it's not great. And sorry, by the way, because I have to have the light on, it's got this weird blur going on the screen. I know I'm looking a bit hazy right now. But it's no good as a mill card for your milling your opponent because you're only doing 4 cards and you can only do that when you get rid of a desert. And it's alright putting your eternalized stuff in the graveyard, but frankly, there's easier ways of doing that. So I'm not really big on any of this cycle. I think the best one's probably either the black one or maybe the red one. That's my opinion. Moving on, we have a Heliod. Chaos Maul, 2 red, 5 any colors, 7 mana altogether, 6/6 Helion. When Chaos Maul enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to each other creature. So it'll pretty much wipe the entire board minus you for 3. It's a Wrath of God effect. We've seen this effect plenty of times. It's on a stick, so that's cool. But after it hits the field, it's nothing more than a giant 6/6. Now, granted, I love the art. The orange, the red, the blue. Man, this thing looks gorgeous. As a card, I could definitely use it in the pre-release. That's about it. That's not true. I probably could find a spot for it. Well, maybe I could find a spot for it. No guarantee. Imminent Doom. 1 red, 2 of any color. Enchantment. Rare. Imminent Doom enters the battlefield with a Doom counter. Whenever you cast a spell, will convert a mana cost equal to the number of Doom counters on Imminent Doom. Imminent Doom deals that much damage to target creature or player. Then put a Doom counter on Imminent Doom. Now, when you first read this, you think, wow, that's really cool, that's amazing, or, well, okay, maybe not everyone thinks that, but it gives off the impression that, wow, it's a ticking time bomb, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger, I'm just going to keep burning them out. Yes and no. Remember, it comes out with a Doom counter on it, which means to get that secondary effect, so whenever you cast a spell converted mana cost, you need to cast a 1-drop spell. Now, granted, it does say spell. It's not instant sorcery, anything like that. It is spell. So whatever 1-drop you're playing will work. But then it goes up to 2. Then you got to play a 2-drop, a 3-drop, 4-drop. The bigger you get, the bigger these cards get, the harder it is to meet the condition to it. To the point where once you get to about 7, it's very unlikely you'll be going past 7. I mean, there are decks that can be designed that way. I have one that if I get this card, I will put it in because I have cards that could work with this card. I mean, there's like things that if you want, like try to use proliferate or something like that, it could work too. But overall, it's not a it's another bulk, but it's one that in the pre-release, if I just get it, I could definitely work it in a casual deck of mine. Hour of Promise, 4 of any color, 1 green sorcery. This is our third hour. Search your library for up to 2 land cards. Put them into the battlefield, tap them, shuffle your library, and if you control 3 or more deserts, create 2 black zombie tokens. Now, the land searching is great for 5 mana. If sorcery speed, that's a little, maybe not amazing, but it's definitely not terrible. We've seen 2 search for 2 lands for less before on a lower rarity, so it's the desert thing that I'm like, look, I know they're trying to encourage deserts, but so far I'm really not seeing many deserts that are worth it. So I don't know. I would like to say I could play this, but I just don't see me playing it. Endless Sands. Desert. Rare. Tap, add a colors to your mana pool. Pay 2 and then tap this card. Exile target creature you control. You may pay 4 and then sacrifice this card. Tap it and sacrifice this card. Return each card you exile with Endless Sands to the battlefield under the owner's control. What's the point? I mean, yes, you'll eventually get an army, but why do that? I mean, the only way I can see this card being any decent really is a block and save it from destruction, or save it from a burn spell or something like that, and then you can return it later. Other than that, I don't see the point of these effects. Like with Oblivion Ring or the angel or the creatures that exile something when this creature dies, return that something to the battlefield. I can get that, but you're basically getting rid of your own creatures for nothing, because if they figure out a way to get rid of this land, you're kind of boned. And you're just pulling your chewies apart, just pulling those yummy chewies out. I'll just hold this for you. How about that? I'll hold that for you. You can chew on that to your heart's content. Yeah, I'm not digging on the Endless Sands. Razaketh's Right. 2 black, 3 of any color. Search your library for a card and put it into your hand. You may shuffle your library, cycle 1 black. So it's Diabolic Tutor, just 1 mana extra, plus you can cycle it. Perfectly good. You're going to use that regardless. I'll use it probably in a deck or 2. Ominous Sphinx. 2 blue, 3 of any color, 4/4 Sphinx flying. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-0 until the end of turn. Limited, it'll probably be fine. In a deck, you're gonna have to run discard or cycling. These cards that are like there were cards in Theros that were needed Scry, but Scry is a far more valuable ability than cycling. Let's be clear. Drawing is one thing. Drawing is great, but setting up your draw is better. So, yeah. So I can't say I mean, it's still a 5/5 flyer, or excuse me, a 4/4 flyer for 5, so it's usable. But it's just not amazing. Cosine Oblivion. Cosine to Oblivion. Interesting name. And I'm just checking my timetable at the moment. Okay, I'm not doing too bad. 1 blue, 1 of any color. Instant. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Okay, it's a bounce spell. Uncommon, by the way. 1 black and 4 of any color for Oblivion. Aftermath. Target opponent discards 2 cards. So essentially, this card is supposed to be setting up for if you were able to play them together. Pop it to your opponent's hand. Hopefully you'll discard along with another card. I mean, the first part's good, but then the second part's nothing more than a freaking Mind Rot. So, and it's a lot more expensive than Mind Rot. I'd rather play Mind Rot. So it's not that great. Vizier of the Anointed, 3 of any color, 1 blue, 2/4, Human Cleric. When Vizier of the Anointed enters the battlefield, search your library for a creature card with Embalm or Eternalize. Put it into your graveyard, then shuffle your library. Whenever you Eternalize or Embalm a creature, draw a card. This is kind of your Eternalize, first off, is your Eternalize Tutor, or your Embalm/Eternalize Tutor, and it's your kind of your Eternalize Embalm Lord to a degree, because you will be getting an effect no matter what when you Eternalize and Embalm. So this is the card you want to be playing with that. We have our 4th hour, Hour of Eternity. 3 blue, 2x, and I mean, when I say 2x, I mean 3 blue mana, one X, and then another X. So basically, you pay 2 mana with the X, you'll be getting 1. Now, exile X target creature cards from your graveyard. For each card exiled this way, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. Similar in form to the God Pharaoh's Gift, but a lot pricier to play, honestly. Now let's be clear. If this is late game where you have maybe, I don't know, 8 to 10 mana, which is very possible, I could see it working, maybe. Ow, puppy. I've got one of the bully sticks, and because it's designed, she was pulling it out of my hand. It's kind of ripping into my hand a bit. You'd get like 3 guys, which would be cool. This card's nowhere near as good as it looks. It's not bad if you can even get 1 off on like a really good creature, like if you do it on a god. Then anything is possible. But yeah, it's just not as good as it seems. The hours seriously lost their appeal after I think after the second one. Yeah, they're starting to lose their focus. We still got the red hour to go though. So whatever that hour is, hour of devastation, I assume. So yeah, now we have the last 2. Well, actually, technically, it's not the last 2. It's the last of the last cycle. So we've had Bantu's Last Stand. We've had Bantu's Last whatever it was. We had Ronas' Last Stand. We had Hazaret's Last Mercy. Now we have Kefnet's Last Word, which is a 2 blue, 2 of any color sorcery. Gain control of target artifact, creature, or enchantment. Lands you control don't untap during your next untap step. This card is actually really... First off, the take control effects, they are never cheap usually. So for to have one at 4, this thing is not... Mind Control's not even at 4. Mind Control's at 5. This thing is actually... Let's be clear. Your lands won't untap during your untap step, like all the rest of them. But the catch to that is... Unless you're playing it like really early, like they drop, I don't know, a god or something, and you want to take control of that god, of course you're going to play it. But when you're playing this card, I assume it's going to be later in the game when you have like 5, 6, maybe 7 mana, or at least are able to produce that much mana. I mean, you can play this and still have mana to have other things happen. It's like, you get my Chewy. You hold my Chewy. I like it when you hold my Chewies. So this card's actually really, really disgusting. Because it's let's just say you want to play it on turn 4. Guess what? You can play it on turn 4, take control of something awesome they have, and be fine for a while. So provided it all worked out in your favor. Obviously, there's scenarios where it's not going to work out. Now, Hazaret's Last isn't... Ow, puppy. Don't need to claw on my hand. It's right here. Now, Hazaret's Last is not Hazaret's Last. Hazaret's Last is Hazaret's Undying Fury. 2 red, 4 of any color. Shuffle your library and then exile the top 4 cards. You may cast any number of non-land cards when converted mana costs of 5 or less from among them without paying their mana cost. Lands you control don't untap during your next untap step. Because this is a very... First off, lore-wise, it tells us that Hazaret might actually be the one god that lives through this. But as a card, it's expensive. But assuming you've set up, because Scry still exists and all that, assuming you can set up, well, you gotta shuffle your deck too. Assuming that your deck has enough small enough drops to play that, like a couple creatures, there's a chance that you could, in theory, hit all 4 cards. There's a chance you could hit none of those cards. It's a crapshoot, but generally speaking, I'd imagine you'd be able to play 50% of the cards you dig out of your deck. And in that sense, this card's awesome. This card's really good. But I mean, I don't see it being played. I can see it being played to Commander, but I don't see it being played overly much, just because of its cost and the risky factor to it. But these kind of cards are fun. I enjoy them. Bloodwater Entity. 1 black. It's not 1 black. 1 red. 1 blue. 1 of any color. 3 mana. 2/2 flying Pross. When it enters the battlefield, you may put a target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on the top of your library. I like the look too. It's like a bug dragon thing in the mist or something like that. Solid card. It's a fly. I mean, It's basically setting up the prowess for the next turn because you'll get your instant or instant or sorcery back. It's fine. Merciless Eternal. 2 of any color, 1 black. Uncommon Eternal. 2/2 Zombie Cleric. Afflict 2. Obviously, for Afflict, when it comes blocked, they'll lose life equal to the Afflict cost. 2 in this case to lose 2 life. You may pay 2 of any color, 1 black. Discard a card. Merciless Eternal gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. So, not only does it enable things like those discard enablers, but it also happens to be it has the ability to turn into a 4/4 when it attacks, which means they have to either choose to take 2 or take 4. I think they're going to choose 2, but they could also risk losing a creature. It's a solid card. Afflict is a really nasty mechanic. It's not Annihilator or an effect level nasty, but it's a pretty messed up ability. We also have we have 2 other Eternals. Eternal of Harsh Truths. 2 of any color, 1 blue. Zombie Cleric, uncommon. A 1/3, Afflict 2. Whenever Eternal of Harsh Truths attacks and isn't blocked, draw a card. So basically, they have to make the choice with this guy. You're going to take the 1 damage or the 2 damage. But if you give me take the side the 1 damage is fine because you want to save some life, I get a free card. Another card that's actually really sick because they have to lose life one way or another with these Afflict cards. That's the real kicker of it. They have to lose life. And when you get to actually have the attack through, you get the added bonus of drawing a card. It's no downside with these cards, and that's disgusting. Frontline Devastator, 3 of any color and 1 red, so 4. Zombie Minotaur Warrior, 3/3, Afflict 2. You may pay 1 red and 1 any color. Frontline Devastator gets +1/+0 until the end of turn. This one's not so good, not as good. I mean, if you decide to pump it up, which I would imagine someone would at least pump it up once, it becomes a 4/3. So again, they have to choose between the 2 life and the 4 life. I would imagine though that they got something that the difference I have with something like this as opposed to the other 2 is its toughness no longer equals its power. So its toughness becomes lower than its power. Ergo, if you're attacking, they don't need to block with something that automatically has 4 power. They just need something that has 3 power. And if it has a big enough butt, it could live. They might still take 2 damage, which is great, but it's not as good. This is the common of the cycle. We got a reprint of Crumbling Necropolis, right on. As you may remember from Shards of Alara, it comes out tapped, and you may pay 1 blue. You may add 1 blue, 1 red, 1 black to your mana. God Pharaoh's Faithful. Now this is a weird card for me, and I say that because it's 1 white, a 0/4 human wizard. Whenever you cast a blue, black, or red spell, you gain 1 life. Now, obviously, with multicolored decks, you're not obviously going to be running a 4-color deck very often with this card. That's where it got weird to me. Reading it again, now I know it doesn't have to be because it's a choice between them. You could put it in a monocolor or a tricolored deck that uses 2 of the other colors. Like you could turn it into a Mardu or a Jeskai. What's the other one? Or an Esper deck, and it would be fine. Just weird is my opinion. Last but not least, that we're just at the right point to be ending this. Crest Sunmare. Mythic Rare Horse. 3 of any color, 2 white. 5/5 horse. Other horses you control have indestructible. Horse tribal. What? At the beginning of each end step, if you gained life this turn, create a 5/5 white horse creature token. Didn't we just go over a card that'll give you 1 life so long as you play a colored spell? This thing is freaking beast. I mean, all you have to do is figure out a way to gain 1 life, just 1 life a turn, and you will have an army of indestructible horses on your side. I love this thing. You bet your ass if I get this thing, this is going into some decks I have. I know a couple decks that would love this card. Oh man, this thing is awesome. But anyway, that's all the cards that came out between yesterday and today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Superhero, What If, Magic, Dragon Ball Z, anything I do in the channel. Put in the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to it at some point. I'll be back in a little bit with who would win for today. It will be Danny Phantom versus Aang, the Avatar. So, with that being said, I'll put this video to an end, and I'll see you in a little